Hello, this is Kurt from Grand Purpose Piano. You could reach us at grandpurpose.com. I'm getting ready to take the Steinway A apart, and before I do that, I just wanted to mention some of the things that happen prior to taking anything apart that's a musical instrument. You need to take notes. You need to take a lot of notes, a lot of measurements. You want to make sure that the piano is going to be put back together the same way that it came apart. This is a well-made instrument built over 100 years ago, handcrafted. You know, I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel. What I want to do is I want to make sure I retain the beauty and the artistic construction that had gone into this handmade instrument. So what I like to do and what I've created was a handbook. My handbook that I created has the name of the piano that I put on the front, the serial number, and then I go through and I have different parts of the piano all listed on both sides of this page. I want to make sure that I keep track of the different bolts and how many I have. I want to make note if something's broken and I have to buy a new part. I want to go over here and I have a disassembly parts worksheet, and what this does is it talks about each one of them that I've checked. It's a checklist, so I'll go through the legs. I want to go through the lid, the stretcher. So I've listed all the different parts of the piano so I don't forget anything when I go through the instrument. I want to make sure that I'm thorough and I've checked everything that could be checked, because I will be ordering parts for it and I'll need to have a nice thorough checklist. Then I go through in the measurement page, and there's a lot of measurements that need to be taken. Number one, of course, I want to take pictures. I want to remind myself that I want to take before and after pictures of the instrument, because there's so many times I think the customer really enjoys seeing what it looked like beforehand and the work process as it goes along. I want to make sure that I get all my string heights, and you can see I have different measurements all through here, and there's places for notes. And then when I'm going to order the parts, I'm going to talk about where I'm going to get the parts from, where the part manufacturer. I'm going to get Steinway hammers for this. I'm going to get shanks and flanges. What type of part am I going to get? All these notes will be taken on these pages. And then I'll go ahead, and if I'm going to be installing a piano disc, then I'll be able to make notes on that first. And then there's a lot of things that I can do while the piano is being disassembled. I can make sure that I make my slots, and I can do things to prepare myself for the piano disc installation. Over here I have a damp chaser system if I know it's going to get a damp chaser system. Damp chaser system is something that controls the humidity in the piano, the moisture content in the wood. And then you can see I just have a few blank pages. You know, there are a lot of notes and drawings that I'm going to want to do, and it's important for me to have those notes. Here's notes for the refinisher, and I make all the different parts out for them so that they know what they're supposed to do and I know what they've done. And then we have a checklist at the end of the entire process. Once I do it, I type in, or I put in which technician would be working on it, the date when they worked on it, and then all the different things that have gone on, what I want to do prior to it being done. And then of course I'm going to give my stamp of approval once it's all done over there. I'm no longer the factory manager I used to be. Now I'm the factory owner. So I own Grand Purpose Piano, and this is my company. So my name will probably go on most of this on most of this booklet. I do have other people that are working with me, and I have an apprentice also that I'm training as well. So as time goes on, they'll be able to put their name on these papers as well. So then over here I'm going to talk about what type of pin block I'm going to be using. So if it's getting an underlever assembly, and what type and what manufacturer am I going to buy it from. And then the action replacement, I'm going to talk about where I'm getting it, the shanks and flanges and the hammers and the whippings and what type. There are a lot of choices that need to be made when you're going to have a piano restored. I can simplify those choices because I know what works best with the instruments. So those measurements, it's going to take a little while to make all these measurements. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start making reference marks on the piano itself so that I know that this plate is going to go in precisely the same position as it did before. Remember, I'm replacing the soundboard and I'm replacing all the bridges. Everything needs to go in exactly the same place. I have a very good method that I've been using for many years. I've trained many people how to do soundboard installation and to make sure that they reference things in the right place. So it's a proven method, and it really is very, very nice to be able to do a job and to have everything fall back in exactly the same position as it did when it came out. And not only that, you need to understand that the action ports are going to hit the strings. So you have all the different ports over here that all have to line up, and everything has to work together to make this instrument work properly. Well, thanks for spending the time allowing me to show you this. Have a great day, and visit us again at grandpurposepiano.com. Actually, it's grandpurpose.com.